presume everyone wanted tea.
I'll take my
Queen of Awesomeness.
Queen of Awesomeness, yes.
Ah.
Where are they, George?
Pardon?
Where are they?
Well, be here.
Well, it's taken them an awful long time.
Well, things do take a long time. We're not in a rush, though, are we?
No. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, you don't go out much at all now, do you?
I don't know.
Yeah?
No,
When was the last time you went up the shops or something like that?
I don't know. Is it Friday tomorrow?
Is it Friday tomorrow?
Yeah,
What day is it today?
Thursday.
There's the clue.
Well, she'll come do my feet tomorrow.
Hmm?
She'll do my feet
Oh,
tomorrow.
you're doing your feet tomorrow? Oh, you should come tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Oh.
So Mum's house is one of the few houses that's still a council house. And most of the other houses on the street are bought, aren't they, Bob? And do you feel that that's the case, that it's not your house?
Don't
Or
bother
your-
me, love. Long as somewhere to live, don't bother me. We could have bought it for nothing, actually. Few £100. But you know what your dad was like.
I don't know. I don't know if I knew what to I'm becoming increasingly... I don't know.
He didn't work for many years, didn't he? He had a heart attack and that didn't help him.
No.
No.
And having a heart attack and being made unemployed and you're 40 and you've got 4 children,
Yeah.
it's quite stressful, isn't it? Well, for you as well, not just, it wasn't just Dad getting stressed and you having a whale of a time, was it?
Well, I don't get stressed very much, George.
You don't get stressed very much.
No. Why? You die if you do and you die if you don't. Why worry about it? Where is John?
Where's John?
It's taken this long to come up from Emerson. They're not very good timekeepers. I moved from Donegal to Germany, and I went to America. Lived in Los Angeles. What did I do? Can I remember? I was doing bookkeeping for some people. Can't remember who they were now. See, my memory's not good, George.
Well, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Well, I've got memory tablets now.
Well, we're going to get you a memory mattress, aren't we? Because that might help. A memory foam. Then when
Sure.
Well, then it helps you remember things when you wake up in the morning.
George, you're daft.
But the thing is, you've got your memory tablets, but have you remembered to take them?
To tell you the truth, I don't know where they are.
What? There's no hope, is there?
What did you do with them?
Did you put them in the dispenser? You've took them.
you?
You've took them.
There you go then. Not daft, really.
You're not daft.
No.
No. Not your memory's better than it was.
Well, I've only had one. So it must be good. Oh, Lord.
But you went to America with Dad, didn't you? You got married and then you went to America.
Yeah, but your dad didn't like America. No, your dad loved America. I didn't like it. That was it.
Yeah, see?
I couldn't wait to get back.
And can you remember what you didn't like about America?
I went to work for, what was the place? But there was 3 different girls worked in it. One of them was English. And that's all she did, was talk about how great England was. And I thought, well, what did you leave for? I just couldn't do with it. The way they bragged about everything and who had the best swimming pool and who had this and who had that. And my sister was just as bad.
That's burglars.
That's the tribe.
Hello.
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 He has a beard, look.
He does have a beard.
I sometimes sit here. It's weird that you're sitting there.
Mm. Well, I was sat on the floor.
Let's take salt monkey out of the way and then you can put your cup there.
Have you taken your tablets this morning, Mum?
But I don't know, darling. Did I?
Well,
Did I, George?
Filled up on Monday.
Is everybody all right?
I mean, Dad thought it was quite funny that I did a painting of the house, and the painting was worth more than the house. He found that quite interesting that he could have swapped his son's painting for his house.
But I didn't think it took me a long time to work out Dad's sort of principles that he wouldn't ever have bought this house. I couldn't understand that for a long time.
Well, he didn't want responsibility anyway. Your dad he liked to hold on to money.
And then when he dies, you find £7,000 under the bed.
Well, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was that in?
What are they called?
Expandable wallet.
Yeah, the big folder.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
George was going through it, weren't you? He was going, all these notes.
And I just went,
I used to wonder what he did with it.
£7 grand in
Because I've never seen anything.
Well, you
for
never-
it.
But that's because he didn't trust anyone.
He didn't trust banks either.
I remember him saying to me, if you have one, like this was probably when I was about 10, if you have one friend in your life, you're very lucky. Okay.
Yeah, we met Dad's one friend and he was a prick.
he was a complete
That is
prick.
so
wasn't
true. Terry Mooney.
Yeah, I couldn't stand Terry Mooney.
What was all that about?
I think sometimes actually he was closer to Terry's mum and dad than he was
yeah.
to Terry.
Yeah.
I think maybe he wanted his mum and dad.
Yeah,
Because he got on with them really well, didn't he?
yeah. They were nice people.
But they were very
She was very posh and he was very working class.
but they were very cultured as well,
Yeah,
weren't they? Because they used to go and see. They took Dad to see the caretaker, didn't they, in
Yeah,
London?
yeah, different things, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it comes from.
Well, that table is thus where Dad sat. He liked to be on his own.
The flowers are a bit strange.
They were
I think
a
the
bit
fact that
odd.
they're being filmed means they could become metaphoric.
I think that's what killed him, you know.
The chair.
I think it might have been the
Sitting. And
cigars mum that killed him.
because after he had the heart attack, he never did anything.
That was his.
He
I
went
think that's
to...
when his life started, Mum. His writing and he used to but Dad had this thing about reading, like the sort of books he would read. Because all those books that were on that bookcase, I never saw him reading any of those. He used to get his books from the library,
Yeah, he
and
did.
they would be like thrillers, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And he would read those. And I don't know when he read the other books.
Well, they were well thumbed, and he knew the contents of them.
Oh yeah, he did.
No one knew what he did all day long and how he came to inquire this vast sum of knowledge or useless information,
Yeah,
which he was able to
Did you-
expound.
yeah.
And you were thinking, how? And then just when you think it was all about literature, he would come out with some fact from football.
He would sit there and read an encyclopedia.
Yeah, I mean, the internet would have blown Dad's mind. I mean, because Dad was the internet.
That was a precursor to the internet.
You know, before Google, I used to phone Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if he didn't know it, there would be a book on the shelf that would tell him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't need to go out. So I think what a romantic image that I have is the house become quite self-contained.
Oh, he had everything he needed.
Everything, yeah. But also, similarly for us growing up, if you've got mum and dad talking about wanting to do well at school and stuff,
Yeah.
not particularly to get jobs, they never talk about jobs,
No,
but just to become educated
Yeah.
and
for its own sake.
yeah. I still can remember everyone's being in here reading and the telly being on there, but everyone had a book on their lap.
You couldn't watch certain things, could you?
No, God, I remember everybody watched Dynasty at school,
Yeah.
and we were not allowed to watch that.
Then we'd be sent to bed at 9 o'clock when the news came on, when we were really little, and then the horror double bill would come on. He'd come and wake us up, and we'd come down and then watch Dracula.
Yeah.
Mum would come in with
Lemonade.
a bottle of pop and some peanuts or some crisps and stuff.
How do you want one? Oh my god. Oh, I love that picture, look.
Can't remember his name.
Is that Glenn Campbell?
That's Glenn Campbell, yeah.
Not the singer. Is he actually dressed up like a rhinestone cowboy?
Do you know who any of these are?
Look at the picture above your bed.
A revolver.
Because you were thinking about moving from here at one point, weren't you, Mum, this time last year? After how long?
27 years, I think. That? Oh, I can't remember.
What year did you move in this house then?
69.
Oh, yeah. Not 27 years, is it?
You.
Not 69, Mum. I was born in 69.
Do you think you'd move back to Ireland, Mum?
I'm not sure. They're so posh over there, aren't they? I've got this and I've got that. And I can't be doing with things like that. That's why I left America. I don't want anything, but they all wanted something.
Your mum was quite easygoing, wasn't she? She used
Mum
to
was, yeah.
feed all the poor people.
Oh, she fed everybody but us. No, my dad opened a shop because he thought this was going to be great. He opened a shop in this room that they had. It was great. It was a lovely shop. But my mum gave everything away.
Aww.
The gypsies came, she gave it to them. He had to shut it in the end. She's very good to people. She was very good. Good Samaritan. Oh yes, she used to feed the crows. She did. On the windowsill in the kitchen. They'd be all lined up waiting to be fed. The crows. Quite tame as well. But she loved animals. My dad used to kick the cat out. She'd bring him back in. Terrible they were. She was terrible with animals. Why am I talking like this?
Remember my tortoise, Mum?
Yeah.
Remember we thought on Blue Peter you put it in hibernation. So we did
Yeah,
it
we
exactly.
did. We put it in hibernation and went back for it. It was dead.
Well, we'd forgot about it, that's why. Auntie Bebe came round and said, well, how's your tortoise? And we went, oh.
She said it
Went
should
out
be
into
out of hibernation now.
It was just a skellybob. Just a skeleton in the shell. Horrible smell.
Oh, dead.
In the back all covered.
Dead was.
And basically put it in a box and sealed it up and it died. Well, you think lots of people don't have graves now, do they? Dad doesn't have a gravestone.
No.
He just blows around the woods.
Blows around Scotland.
Why does it blow around Scotland?
Shetlands.
Oh, there's a bit in my drawer at home.
Yeah, it's a dignified ending, isn't it? Bits of him all over the house, like lint.
Well, half of them ended up in Mum's turnip.
Yeah, the wind blew it all back.
Yeah, and it all landed in your turnips
Yeah,
and your
it did.
trousers.
Yeah.
He came back home. Had to hoover him up.
What fun we had.
I mean, that's the thing with the pictures. You end up living in a world of ghosts of photography.
It's like that anyway, though, isn't it?
What, without photography?
Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah, but all the time. Yeah.
It is all the time. When I go into work, I think that. No, you know, when you've been somewhere for a while, I think, and the people leave, and then you're sort of just left with the memory. That sounds really rubbish, but you know what I mean. People who used to be there.
Sounds like a really bad Sondheim song.
Somehow they are. I mean, everything's changed in this house, but in some ways it's still exactly the same.
The notch where Dad's chair used to bang on them.
Yeah.
If you keep coming back to a place, it has something about the notion of home about it. I mean, there's nothing here. There's no tangible thing here that I can't get anywhere else. I'm not proud of this house or the area or anything like that. I don't run it down, I don't think, or anything like that. But on the other hand, I wouldn't say I was proud about Britain or England or any of that kind of thing. But I would still define it as home.
I wouldn't feel right in somewhere else. Wouldn't want to go to bed somewhere else.
But how it would be for us if you weren't here, I don't know. I mean, it would be a bit difficult for us to come here if someone else was living here.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? Oh, we are having fun.
We are.